Hi, everyone. We're going to wait a couple more minutes for more people to join us, but as you are coming in, please write in the chat briefly what you and your organization have done for Prevention Month in the past. Include your organization name, please. And if you haven't participated in Child Abuse Prevention Month in the past, you can write what you're looking forward to or hoping to accomplish for this April. We'll get started soon. We do have a lot to cover, but I know we promised that partners who attended the meeting would have priority for some of the materials, so we'll be sure to make a note of all the partners who are in attendance so we can give that to you. Okay. Okay. So thank you all for joining today's meeting. This is our Prevention Month team here at Alaska Children's Trust. I'm Akriti KC. I'm the Alaska Fellow for Strategy Prevention.
Hi everyone, I'm Kayla Pfister. I am the Director of Community Engagement.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Adi Peters and I'm the Director of Prevention Strategies at Alaska Children's Trust. Nice to see everybody.
Perfect. So here's our agenda for today's meeting. Thank you all for joining today's partner launch meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to kind of update everyone on the materials and resources we are offering for a successful Child Abuse Prevention Month this April. So the planning process, we had a lot of partners who are currently in this meeting attend our planning meetings where we discussed what has worked for CAP month in the past, what everybody hopes to see for this month to make it more successful and impactful and accessible. So based on that, we were able to kind of see if there were any translations we could do, how to update the materials we have, how can we adjust our mini grants to make it more, to have more programming available, and what are some different events or trainings or programs that we could offer. So
Yeah, so materials, the order form is open right now. So we will ship materials to any organization in Alaska and get creative with it. I know a lot of you are at our partner orgs, but if you're also a Girl Scout troop leader, we will do that. If you're part of a religious organization, we will send it to them. So we really want to expand our network of who we send materials to. But this is what we were able to land on for this year. So the first item is our conversation cards. Here's the old version. Let's see, I could spotlight myself so that you can. Here's the old version. We've updated these now because AI has developed since we created these cards. So we added questions about that. We just edited them a bunch and made them even better. So we'll be sending those out. The second item is our online safety comics. These are comic books that we worked with. The real dog, the canine Sunny from the Alaska State Troopers, is the main character, and they're a tool more for the younger kids versus the online safety conversation cards are more for like teenagers, I would say. Some of the questions are, specific about if you saw a nude image, would you feel comfortable telling me? Versus the online safety comic book is more for the younger kids to get those conversations going early and often. And it includes a parent guide that we'll talk about in just a minute, with some guiding questions as well. The next tool is our Strengthening Families coloring books. We can provide these in print in English. We also have them available in Spanish and Yupik on our website. That's available right now. So if you wanted to go on the website and download the PDF, you can print these, coloring pages. There's no color inside the book. You can print these in Spanish and Yupik too. And we're working on a new Nupiak, but we'll talk about that again in a second. On the bottom left there are the children's growth charts. These are about 5 feet long and they help you track the child's development, what vaccines are recommended at that age. It gives links to the CDC recommendations and the the American Association of Pediatrics recommendations. And this year we worked with Alaska 529 for funding these. And so they also have a bunch of things about how to get kids saving money young, since Alaska 529 is focused on that kind of college and career savings account thing, with the tax-free savings. So those have a little bit of a focus on Alaska 529 to them too. We have our resource magnet frames. I've seen them in the past. Here's one. They stick to anything magnetic. And then what you do is you pop out the inner frame. I'm not going to do it because here's my sample though. But you pop out the inner frame and then you can use these at an event. I've always wanted someone to have a Polaroid event where they take pictures with the family and then they give them the resource frame to bring home. So, make my dreams come true this year, everybody. And then something else we'll be throwing in the boxes are a couple copies of Howling with Huskies children's books. These are free books. The Association of Alaska School Board was able to help us order some extra ones this year. So we'll actually be putting a couple copies, and depends on how many orders we get, how many we'll put in each box. But we'll put in some copies of these books, as well as some plastic pinwheels. We have some straggling plastic pinwheels that we need to get rid of. So we'll be doing that. Oh, yay, Polaroid cameras. Okay, I love the chat. Sweet. Okay, next slide. We're hoping to mail these materials out right around the first week of March. If you're in the Anchorage area, we do ask that you help us by picking up your materials. You wouldn't believe how much these things cost to ship. Let me tell, I've paid for boxes to ship that are over $100 to mail this stuff. So if you're able to pick up in the Anchorage area, we'll be coordinating that with you. But we're hoping to have them ready by then, so that you have them with plenty of time. And we can provide a tracking number if you need it. So let us know. Okay. And then, yeah, I mentioned the translation, kind of talked about this already, but we are working on getting this coloring book translated into Inupiaq also. We're hoping it's going to be available by April, kind of waiting on the translators. So we'll see how that goes. The back of the coloring books has a QR code that links to all of our different materials on our website too. So you'll see that. And I mentioned the parent guide for the online safety Canine Sunny books. We have a parent guide in English that really kind of provides the meatier, tangible questions to talk to your child about. And then we also, thanks to GCI, have this translated into Yupik as well. And so we are offering printed copies of the Yupik parent guide, but only if you order them on our form. So make sure you put that specifically when you go to order your stuff. I think that's everything with materials. I'll make sure the link is in the chat in case you haven't ordered yet. But please spread the word. Let folks at organizations that you wouldn't traditionally think of as like a child or family serving partner of ACTs, please let them know because we are definitely looking for new contacts. Especially this year in Northern Alaska. We're particularly looking for more contacts in Northern Alaska because we got some funding from the Arctic Slope Community Foundation. And we're also looking for more contacts in Kodiak and Unalaska because we got some funding for Prevention Month from Matson, and those are their two main areas. So if you have contacts there, let us know, drop them in the chat, and we'll move on for materials. Thanks.
Thank you, Kayla. So now we're going to talk about mini grants. So we have 3 mini grant options for this year. One option is to host a Go Blue Day. Second option is Pinwheels of Possibility art competition. And third option is any other prevention focused event. So we'll go into more detail on the next couple of slides, but applicants can apply for one grant of $300, and these funds can be used for renting the venue or equipment, food, outreach materials, staff time, compensation for other support individuals, or any other supplies you might need to do the event and do the activity. So these are currently open, and we will put the link in the chat as well, but these are going to be due March 9th. So a little under a month left to apply. So mini grant option number 1 is to host a Go Blue Day, and Go Blue Day is this community-wide show of support for child abuse prevention that highlights the connection, the community, and the resilience in that community. So organizations have the option to design events that reflect the needs, culture, and strengths of their community. And they can decorate spaces, they can hold family-friendly gathering events or creative blue-themed activities. We also have a Go Blue Day activity booklet with ideas and activities that have blue-themed events or movies to watch for Go Blue Day, or arts and crafts to do, or science experiments to do for Go Blue Day. So this year, Go Blue Day is Friday, April 10th. So it's not the first Friday of the month as it usually is due to Easter. But organizations can host their own Go Blue Day at any time during the month of April. So you don't have to host it on Friday, April 10th, or the first Friday of the month if that doesn't work for you. So the second option is Pinwheels of Possibility art competition. So Prevent Child Abuse America's theme for CAP month this year is Pinwheels of Possibility. So this is just meant to highlight the way children and families are supported within their communities and emphasize the importance of caring relationships or protective factors and community connection. So ACT kind of sees this as a way for children and families to think about the protective factors they have and start meaningful conversations around them. And so we uploaded pinwheels with different prompts and different questions, kind of like you see here. And we were hoping that organizations would host a pinwheel decorating event that invites the children and youth and families to kind of draw or write what these different questions mean to them. So an example of a question is, what's your favorite activity to do with your family? And so you would maybe draw or write what your favorite activity to do with your family is, and then go around the pinwheel and do that for each of the questions. And And then this was just a way to kind of visualize what a protective factor for every family is, and kind of just spotlight all the different ways that you can feel safe, secure, and belonging within your community. So we do have these printable pinwheels on our website with the prompts available, or you can create your own pinwheel to kind of have prompts that better reflect the protective factors or environment of your community. And then you can post the completed pinwheels to be decorated within your own community, but also post them on social media and tag Alaska Children's Trust on Facebook or Instagram so we can see it. And then we will use that to host our statewide Pinwheels of Possibility art contest. So this is available to children and youth who are 18 years old or younger. And again, you just post the completed pinwheels and tag us on Instagram or Facebook, and then we will have a voting period where we will consider the likes and engagement that the posts are getting, but also consider the connection to the theme and to the protective factors overall. And then we will select 2 statewide winners who will receive 1 laptop each. So that's mini grant option number 2. And then lastly, our third mini grant option is to host another prevention focused event. Again, so like the main idea with all of these activities are to just kind of highlight different organizations and support the implementation of prevention focused events within your community. So you can choose maybe different movie screenings with facilitated discussions, book clubs, or community reading events, or any other community awareness efforts. So if you want to use the money to have social media campaigns or do radio ads or other outreach to promote prevention and support families, please apply for any of these mini grants. And again, they're due March 9th and they're $300 for a mini grant. So for our advocacy actions, we will do our best to include a copy of the governor's proclamation in all of the material boxes. And then we also invite you to invite your region's legislators, mayors, school board, anyone in your community to wear blue and share facts about your region and any events you have during the month of April. And then we will give copies of the governor's proclamation and pinwheel pins to legislators. And we are working to get special orders read to the floors during April. Then we have our faith-based community toolkit. So we have reviewed and edited the faith-based toolkit from last year, and we are currently in the stages of getting feedback for them. So we have sent it out to mostly Anchorage-based faith organizations. We've mailed it and we've emailed different faith communities. And we are hoping to get feedbacks just so we can better edit and better shape the resource so it's more accessible and culturally relevant. So if you do know any organizations that would love to edit it, the toolkit and the feedback form are both available on the website, but you can always email me and I can always send them a physical copy through the mail if that is better.
Okay, let's just take a second and see if folks have questions about mini grants or the faith-based toolkit. It's a lot of information and it is a little different than past years, so I want to make space for that. Anybody have any questions about any of the 3? Would you go back through the mini grant slides so that people can look at them for a second? Anybody have any questions? We're trying something new with the pinwheel art contest, but we thought it might be a good way to get people involved from afar. And it's an easy after school program activity to participate in, and we have a cool prize. So hopefully that's a draw. Does anybody have any questions about any of this?
So this is Addie here. I don't have a question, more of a comment. So this is my first year as a staff member with Alaska Children's Trust, but I have been on the other side and I've been I've applied for and been the recipient of these mini grants before. And so all I want to say from that point of view, and I know many of you on the line already know, but just because it's a really like low threshold, low barrier grant application. If you have an idea, something you want to do for Child Abuse Prevention Month, we're pretty much going to fund it, right? That falls under this other event. It's a very, very simple application form. The money comes to you electronically. The requirement afterwards, again, is very little. We love to get your photos and see what happened, but it's a small grant. It's $300, but it's very, very easy to do. So I'd encourage everybody who's on the call to not think this is another cumbersome grant application, or we're going to want you to jump through a bunch of hoops. It's not. You can hold a pizza night as long as it's for Child Abuse Prevention Month. We'd be happy to see the application. It's really, so just wanted to share from that perspective. Thanks, agreed.
All righty. Well, then let's move on to social media. Okay, so each year ACT puts out a social media toolkit for partners to be able to use to help promote Child Abuse Prevention Month. What we typically do is we make these graphics in Canva, and then we give you in Canva the ability to edit them and make them your own. We make a template so that you can make a copy. And so you'll see that this year, a lot of our graphics have our colors, ACT colors. And so if you wanted to change them and you want to make them, a red or whatever you want to do, we are completely fine with that. We take no ownership. We just want the word to get out. If you want to put your logo on them, that's totally fine. But our plan for this year is to make these a little bit more long-term instead of changing them over every year, depending on a new theme, because there is a new theme to Prevention Month every year, handed down to us from Prevent Child Abuse America. Instead of changing them every year with a new theme, we're going to try to make these long-term. So that being said, I would really love your feedback about them before we make them public. So we'll go to that in a sec, but our plan is to put all of this out March 6th. So that's the Friday, the first Friday in March. And so we'll put out this toolkit March 6th. That will have the following things: radio ad language. So if you're trying to do a 15 or 30-second PSA in your community, because a lot of communities even have free PSAs for nonprofits, you can do that. We'll have press release text in there. We'll have the actual social media images and the text that goes with each one that you can change, of course. We'll have an email signature so that you can put that in your emails for the whole month and just draw people's attention to it, because that's an easy, no-brainer way to get attention. And we'll have a governor's proclamation, hopefully, as long as that happens, which it always has. So it probably will, but there's no guarantees until we have it in hand. So if you go to the next slide, Akriti. So here are some of the images for this year. So you can see it has a little bit more of ACT's colors versus like last year had a lot of pink. So we're trying to kind of bring it in more in line with our brand and make them something that we can use time and time again. Our focus is on using photos of real Alaska kids and recognizable real Alaska backgrounds. I know that the one I struggled with is this little toes in the water. This is Jewel Lake in Anchorage, I promise. People go swimming here. It's just, not the typical imagery you think of. But these are images so far. I have about 12 done. We will have one for every day in April is my plan. And so you'll be able to use these throughout the month to post them. But I'd love your feedback on the look, on the content, on if you have something specific you'd like to see. A lot of times the themes have been trying to make child abuse prevention less cloudy to people, to show them some of the real specific things that they can do as an individual. So we always have one that talks about breaking barriers for boys and young men and in terms of stereotypes and talking about their emotions. We always have one that talks about identifying grooming behaviors. Here are some things to keep an eye out for. We have one on here that shows that no child should kids knowing that no adult should ask them to keep a secret. So really trying to take it from this really nebulous idea of, oh my gosh, we have so many cases of child abuse and neglect in the state. What really can I do as an individual, and make it tangible? So that's always been my goal with these kind of posts. If you go to the next slide, Akriti, you can see that we also provide text with each post, and usually each post has a link for them to continue to learn more, because they may see a post and then like that's the end of their journey, right? Like they get that thought in mind and that's it. But we really want to direct them to something so that they can be more further engaged in this work, whether that's signing up for your newsletter as an organization to find out when your next parenting class is, whether that's exploring the full child sexual abuse prevention booklet, or accessing our online safety stuff. We want to find a way to get them more deeply engaged in every single post. And so I usually try to have a link in each post so that they can kind of continue their journey and get further engaged. So that's kind of the look and the thought process behind it. I know this is a hard forum to provide feedback because it's a Zoom with a lot of people, but if you have feedback, you can email it to me directly, and that would be great. So I'll put my email in the chat in a second. But if you do have feedback and you want to speak up, by all means, please do. Okay, sorry. My headphones working again? Oh, that's why. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Oh gosh, 1 minute. My phone is also connected to my headphones. Okay, can you still hear me? Okay, great. Sorry about that. Okay, so then part of our social media stuff is also our Go Blue materials. We have 2 posts planned for Go Blue Day, so you can use this. You can also edit them with photos. What works better than anything is photos you have, like real photos of Alaskans doing the thing. So if you have those, feel free to use those instead. Akriti mentioned the Go Blue activity book. We'll have this updated on our website very soon. It still has a 2025 version. We're updating it and making it permanent long-term as well to make it forever. So that version will be up soon. And then we always do have like a template of a poster. So if you're not a poster person and you just want to be able to like plug in your date and location, we can send that to you too. So trying to make it as easy as possible for you to host your own event. All right, next slide. And then here's the email signature I was talking about. So you can just take this image and embed it in your email signature, or you can write one of your own, and that's great as well. And then you can always hyperlink it. You can like do a link in your email signature so that actually this is clickable and people can then go to the website. Okay. We're going to have an opinion piece for newspapers or for a blog, but also for newspapers. We're planning to also have this available March 6th. Usually what we do is make something that you can edit for your own community. You can add an experience from your own community. You can tailor it to what you need, and then you can publish it in your local paper. I don't know if that model has worked for people. Has anyone ever done that, or are we just giving you something that you don't actually use? If you've ever done it, please comment in the chat that you have used this. If not, maybe we should reevaluate how we're doing the blogs or op-eds. We know that it always gets published in the ADN. It usually gets published in a lot of the local papers, but I don't know if other orgs are actually taking it and using it, where it's all just been us kind of publishing it. But either way, we'll have this ready March 6th. And then we also wanted to offer, if you'd like to co-write something, if your org has something on their mind, or if you have a personal lived experience that you want to talk about, ACT is happy to co-write articles. In the past, we've written things with like Food Bank of Alaska. We're working to try to have one on eating disorder awareness with, I can't remember their acronym, but that organization. So if there's a topic that you want to co-write something about, you can let Akriti know and she will work with you on that. And maybe it's your first ever piece that you'll publish in the paper. It'd be pretty cool. All right. Next slide. Okay, so I think at our last meeting, we determined that people do use the graphics. If not, or if so, just write whatever you'd like feedback wise in the chat. If there's anything we can do, we can add or change to make life easier. In the past, we've had it available on Canva, but we've also uploaded it to Google Drive so you could download the imagery from there. We've had like a clickable calendar so you could go into the calendar and copy the text and know that you're supposed to write this one on April 3rd, or this one on April 7th. We've done it that way too. So we just want to make it as seamless for you as we can. So if there's any tool that you want to see us add to our repertoire or would help, please let us know.
Okay. We are also offering our shared calendar this year. So last year we had a calendar that we had to edit every time a new event would come in, and it just got kind of hard to get the updated calendar out every single time. So we have a shared calendar. So the nice thing about this is that you can go and complete the form. So once you click the add your event button, we'll have a form where you can put in your event title, the organization, your organization name, who's hosting it, a description, the location or the link, any contact or email information, the start date, start time, and start end date, end time. And then once we get the form, we can go over, make sure everything is filled in correctly, and then we can click approve and it auto populates onto the calendar on our website. So we are hoping to not only have resources or events and trainings for the month of April, but also maybe expand it to have events and trainings throughout the year and also have nationwide trainings in addition to statewide trainings. So this will just make it easier to access the different trainings and add it to your own calendar, or you can also add just the calendar that we have, which is the Kids First calendar, to your calendar without merging it into like your already existing calendar, and it will just show up and give you reminders about the events. We are also currently working on a partner resource library. So we're hoping to have an ACT webpage for parents that details how to find or access a resource. And it will just be a collection of short 2-minute, 1-minute elevator pitches of different organizations. And they will just say who they are, what they offer, how to access it, and if they have any applications or forms to fill, how to fill out those, or how maybe a how-to guide that we can attach. So think 211, but with videos on our webpage. And so if you or your organization would like to be included, we will be having a Zoom call that I will be scheduling sometime in the next week or two. So please contact me. I'll put my email also in the chat and you can just reach out and then we can schedule the time so we can have you on there. And then Go Blue Day in Anchorage is going to be April 10th at the workshop from 5 to 7. More details are to come, but if you want to register your organization, you can contact Leanna at theworkshopanchorage.com to get working on that. So thank you for listening to our partner launch. We would love to hear what your organization is planning for Child Abuse Prevention Month, and how we can be of assistance getting materials or resources out to you, or just supporting any event implementation or activities. Also, if you have any questions about any of the information that we did just go over. I'll also put the newsletter link to sign up for the newsletter in the chat, just so when we do have the social media toolkit out on March 6th, you can easily have access to it.
Yeah, pretty much every week leading up to April at this point, we'll have something relevant to Child Abuse Prevention Month. So be sure to look there. Make sure you've ordered materials. The closing date is March 1st, but last year we did run out of stuff. So keep that in mind that you need to need to do that. But yeah, our newsletter almost every week will have something relevant. So keep that in mind. And it's every Friday that we send it.
All right, just looking there in chat, Colleen is sharing, so that's really good to know. Thanks, Colleen, that the Go Blue Rally in Matsu is taking place on April 3rd at 11 a.m. Okay. And if
Colleen,
you want,
add that to the event calendar.
just what I was gonna say. Oh, and Adam, thank you for that. Anna, yes, there will be a radio PSA script included in the media packet, correct? Yes, there will. Sorry, I'm just going through your guys' comments here. So, yes. Katie, thank you. You can email any one of us with that. I'm going to put a Criti's email in again. She's probably the best one to do that. So.
Hey, I love your comment. Glad to hear Tanana Chiefs Conference will have something. And we will, ACT will be up in Fairbanks actually April 3rd and 4th. We have Mush for Kids, if you can spread the word on that. We have Mush for Kids at the Pioneer Park, free event for families. There'll be about 3,000 people usually. And we'll be having a little fundraiser the night before. I'll send you the info. And are you in Fairbanks, Kate? Yeah. Or yes. Okay, cool. I'll send you our flyer for Mush. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Really appreciate you being here. And we're off to a great start for Prevention Month. Only a month and a half away, so we're way early.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. And please